Let's begin by sitting comfortably, either in a straight-backed chair if it's not comfortable for you to sit on the floor, or you can sit with your hips slightly elevated on a yoga block or on a cushion, perhaps with your legs crossed. One of the most important things to remember if you want to use your breath to manage emotional states such as anxiety or depression is that the inhalation is associated with your sympathetic nervous system. So that's the activating system of your body, so the activation response, and that the exhalation is connected to the parasympathetic nervous system, so the relaxation response in the body. So you can basically switch between these two states, between active or passive, depending on the way you're breathing. So just a good thing to remember. And generally speaking, when your exhalation is longer than your inhalation, so the focus is on your exhale, then your system tends to be more settled. And also important to remember that in order for the boosting of immunity and to have a strong constitution and immune system, it's best to be in the habit of breathing in and out of the nostrils. So some of the exercises that we'll be doing in this video, the instruction is actually to breathe in and out of the mouth. But as a habit, it's better to take air in through the nostrils and release through the nostrils. And you can do a little bit of research about that on the internet, or I've written a couple of blogs about what the science is behind that if you're interested. But just basically remembering that breathing in and out of the mouth is useful. So let's close the eyes. Turn the attention inwards and begin to notice your breathing. So the movement of the breath through the torso, the touch of the breath at the nostrils, the natural rhythm and pace of your breathing. And start to deepen the breath ever so slightly, so not much. And rest your hands on the belly. And without trying to breathe to your hands, just notice the movement of your belly beneath your hands as you breathe. And then you can bring the hands to the low ribs, so a little to the sides of the body. You actually feel the structure of your ribs beneath your hands there. And again, just keeping this same slow, steady pace of slightly controlled breath, not very exaggerated. Just notice the movement beneath your hands here. And then bring the hands to the top of the chest. The hands are spread. You're taking up a large surface area. And without trying to breathe to the hands, you're just noticing any movement that you're experiencing beneath the hands here. And then let's bring the hands to the back of the body, so you can just have the tops of the hands just resting on your low back. And again, just keeping the breath slow and steady. You're noticing the movement beneath your hands here. And then bring the hands to rest on the knees. So hopefully you felt movement in all those areas. If you're breathing well, you should be breathing to all these different areas of the torso, in which case understanding that having flexible muscles through your back, through your side body, across your chest, in your belly and so forth, is going to help you to breathe more effectively. So we'll do a little warm up in a moment just to connect with some of those muscles to loosen them up so that we can breathe well. But before we do that, let's take 5 rounds of a humming breath Very simple breath that is excellent for settling anxiety, really good for boosting the immune system because it boosts your levels of nitric acid, which is key for heart health, hormone health, um, digestive health, and overall immunity. So that's another thing you can go and look up yourself. Yeah. Really simple. So you're breathing in and out of the nostrils with your lips slightly touched together. So pressure of the lips, or it's the teeth pressing together. And on the exhalation, you hum. So you'll feel a vibration around the head, maybe down into the chest and across the back of the shoulders. Intention is to have the exhalation longer than the inhalation, but just breathing comfortably, basically. So we'll do 5 rounds. And then allow your breath to settle back to its natural rhythm. Just notice how you're feeling. Already your inner state might be settling. So constantly tracking the effects of these breath exercises on your body, your heart, and your mind. And then extending the legs out in front, giving the legs a little shake. And coming over onto your back, just for about 5 minutes of movement to loosen up the muscles of the back, the front, the sides, so that we can breathe a little easier. So let's have the knees bent, the feet hip width apart, arms down by the sides, palms facing upwards. Take a moment to settle. Let's see how it is to come to lying after sitting for a while. And then become aware of your right foot. Just push down gently into your right foot. You can lift the back of the right hip up away from the floor. And then lower the hip down. Become aware of your left foot. Push gently into your left foot. Lift the back of the left hip up away from the floor. And slowly lowering down. And go from side to side a few times. So as the right hip lifts, the right shoulder presses down. And as the left hip lifts, the left shoulder presses down. It's a little bit like the action of walking. Your knees aren't coming with you. Kneecap of the lifted hip is extending to the wall in front. And you're noticing how this movement of the pelvis is affecting the sides of your body, the back of your body, and the front of your body. So all parts of the torso informed by this gentle movement side to side of the pelvis. And next time your left hip is lifting, let's lower, be still, relax, let all your tension go. And then let's take a forward, backward movement of the pelvis now. So gone side to side. Let's go forwards and backwards. So you roll your pelvis forward. So you're bringing an arch of space in underneath your back. And then you roll your pelvis backwards. So you press the lumbar spine down into the floor. And take this a few times. So slow and steady pace. Just let your head bob up towards the ceiling as the pelvis rolls forward. And let the chin tip down as the pelvis rolls back. Notice how your feet can support the movement. A little pull of the heels towards you as the pelvis rolls forward. Push of the feet away from you as the pelvis rolls backwards. Also notice what your shoulders are doing. Pressing down on the forward roll and just feeling a lightness or lifting even on the backward roll. And again, observing the side body, the front body, the back body, and how this movement is inviting a looseness of freedom into the whole of your torso. And then next time the pelvis is rolled backwards, just let it find its natural aspect again, relax. And then rest your right hand on your belly, comfortably so. Keeping your feet hip width apart. Bring the knees down towards the floor on the right side. And at the same time, sweep your left arm out to the side and up alongside the ear. So you keep the arm on the floor. See what's happening through your left side there. And then you bring your knees back to center and you sweep your left arm down. Do that a few more times. So you're synchronizing the movement of the knees coming down into twist and the arm coming up alongside the ear, the back of the shoulder on the floor. And then you come back to your starting point. And again. You might notice a natural rhythm of movement and breath wanting to establish itself here. So air coming into the lungs here when the arms above the head, the rib cage is opening. And then air being released as you come back to neutral. Let's take one more. And then be still and change sides. Just rest the left hand on the belly, have the right arm down beside you, feet stay hip width apart. Simultaneously bringing the knees down to the left and sweeping the right arm out and up alongside the ear, or just wherever's comfortable there for you. And then you return to neutral. And you keep going. So you might inhale as the arm sweeps out and up, reaching into your fingertips to create a bit more space here through the right side. And exhale as the arm comes out and down. And keep going. Really noticing muscles moving over your rib cage moving on the spine. The spine relates to the pelvis. The pelvis relates to the legs. Let's take one more. And then be still, arms down beside you, knees pointing up towards the ceiling. Keep the arms on the floor, draw the knees in towards the chest. Take a few circles round with your knees. And then circle in reverse. And then be still. Tip yourself off to the side, uncurl yourself up to sitting. And then just come up to standing, however's easy and comfortable for you. You come up to standing. Okay. So let's stand with the feet a little wider than hip width apart, perhaps twice hip width apart, with the toes pointing outwards. Slight bend in your knees. Bring the hands onto the side ribs. So again, you're feeling that a delicate curve of the ribs from the front to the back. So the hands are on the side ribs. And let's take a few rounds of ocean breath. So here we'll be breathing in and out of the mouth. And as you inhale, you're feeling your ribs pushing out into your hands. And as you exhale, you're using your hands to very gently push the ribs back in towards the midline. So just very soft and easy. And you're breathing slowly and in a measured way. So we'll take 5 rounds, breathing in and out of the mouth. And let your breath return to its natural rhythm. Release your arms down, just step the feet back to a more comfortable stance and have your eyes closed for a moment, just noticing how that exercise has affected you. So that's ocean breath, so called because you're making the sound of the ocean as you breathe in and out of your mouth. And if you're comfortable with visualization, you might actually like to imagine the waves just lapping the shore. It's a very soothing, natural, elemental thing to experience. So if you're feeling anxious, you can just take a few rounds of this ocean breath, feeling the stimulation of the breath in the back of the throat. That's also going to switch on your parasympathetic nervous system, and putting your attention on this beautiful image of waves effortlessly lapping at the seashore. And then let's take our horse stance, this is called, with the feet twice hip width apart and the toes turned outwards, softness in your knees, just so that the whole torso can soften and relax a little bit. You might try that yourself. You just stand normally and see how your torso feels, and then perhaps you broaden your stance a little and soften your knees, and you might notice that there's just some expansiveness there that wasn't present before. And using that same ocean breath, so the breath in and out of the mouth, we're now going to take the exercise into what's called horizon breath, where perhaps we breathe our troubles to the horizon and let them go. When we're worried about something, normally we can only focus on what's right in front of us. We tend to lose sight of the bigger picture. So this horizon breath, whilst also just stimulating blood chemistry to settle us down because of the way that we are breathing, the way that we are standing, a visualization perhaps of just offering your troubles to the horizon and letting them go, and then just gathering freshness back towards you might be a nice way to help calm you. So 5 rounds of this, breathing in and out of the mouth. On the inhalation, you'll take the arms out to the side, and on the exhalation, you just close the palms back together. So let's start. close the mouth, you let the breath return to its natural rhythm. You step the body back to its natural standing position, and you notice how you are. And then a final breath to practice here from standing is known as calming the storm. So we're continuing with our ocean breath in and out through the mouth. Again, we'll do 5 rounds. And we stand once again in our horse stance. And this time, with nice loose wrists, the inhalation has the hands floating up to just about shoulder height, perhaps a bit higher. And then the exhalation has the palms face forwards and the hands floating back down. So inhalation is the backs of the hands that are leading. You'll float up to about shoulder height, and exhalation, it's the palms that are leading, and you float the hands back down. So let's do that together now. So and then you let go, control of the breath, come out of your horse stance, you return to a more natural position, you have the eyes closed, you turn the attention inwards. So the visualization that can go with calming the storm is perhaps of just, gently softening something in front of you that feels a little threatening. You're just doing a little bit of magic to calm everything down. So just loosening up after standing for a while, take your feet wider and then swing your arms from side to side. Just wrapping your arms around your waist, just letting your joints enjoy this massaging action, just noticing the twisting of your torso, releasing any tension there, and allowing the neck and the shoulders to be free. And then be still. And then we'll just finish this little mini practice by coming to sitting again. So either on your chair or on your comfortable seat. With your eyes closed, checking in. So remembering how you were when you first sat down. See how you might feel different. And then we'll finish with a few rounds of what's called access breath. So described because breathing deeply in this way can actually help us to access feelings that we've maybe repressed, that we're holding on to, that could possibly be causing health issues or depression or anxiety that we don't fully understand the root cause of. So it doesn't mean that you necessarily understand what it is that comes up and out on the breath, what you're accessing from the subconscious. I mean, it might be very clear that thoughts and feelings and ideas come to you, but you might not know. But just having this sense that you are accessing some deep part of your subconscious and releasing anything that isn't serving you. And it is useful to remember that breath work can bring emotion to the surface that we might not expect. So it just wants to be released, that's all. So just allow whatever it is to come out in a safe space, when you're alone. And hopefully once it's released, then your physiology, your heart, your mind might feel more rested and healthier. So breathing to the side body here in access breath. So just place your hands on the side ribs, simply just to find this area to breathe to. And take 1 or 2 breaths. We inhale and very consciously breathe to your hands. You exhale and release. So the inhalation of your access breath is to the side ribs. We don't need to keep the hands there, just have the hands there to help you find it. So we'll be inhaling for 4 counts, inhaling through the nostrils for 4 counts. Take a little pause, not too long, and then you sigh away your exhalation, nice heartfelt sigh. And then at the end of the sigh, just do a little to empty out the lungs completely, and then we start again. So I'll show you the first round, and then perhaps we'll do 5 together. So it looks like this. Okay, so it's inhaling roughly for 4 counts. So you're keeping track of that yourself. You pause maybe for 2 counts, and then you sigh away your exhalation. So the inhalation is through the nostrils, the exhalation is through the mouth, and then there's this at the end, this little forcing of the air out of the base of the lungs so that you can start over. So let's do 5 rounds together. And then a few rounds with your breath at its natural rhythm, your eyes closed. And then as we did at the very beginning, deepening your breath a little, controlling your breath just enough to be conscious of it. You bring your hands over your low belly and you take a few breaths, not consciously breathing to the belly, but just noticing the movement beneath your hands there. And then hands can come to the side ribs. Same thing, so just keeping that slow and steady pace of a slightly controlled breath in, breath out through the nostrils. Just tracking the movement of the breath beneath your hands here. And then place the hands to the top of the chest. Same thing. And place the hands to the back of the body. So it could just be the tops of your hands resting on back body there. So you might be noticing that your experience of the breath through the torso is different now. Maybe you have more access to the areas that felt cut off before. Maybe there's just more of a sense of freedom and ease. So you're looking for the differences, and you're placing your hands on your knees for a moment, or resting your hands in your lap if you're sitting in a chair. Just keeping the eyes closed, staying present. And just staying for as long as you feel you need to bring this short breath practice to a close.